We do not think about them every minute, but they are there. A name, a memory, a moment we keep turning over, and we wonder why we cannot seem to put it down. Someone hurt us. Maybe they never apologized. Maybe they never even knew. And we have carried it so long, it has started to feel like a part of us. There is an old story from northern Thailand about a woman who learned what she was actually holding and what it was costing her. Her name was Nara. She was a healer, a herbalist who gathered plants from the forest edges at the base of the mountains and prepared medicines for her village. She knew which roots drew out fever, which bark soothed a torn muscle, which leaves, crushed and steeped, could help a person sleep. People trusted her with their bodies. She was very good at caring for others. Three years before, her older sister had taken money from a shared savings, money they had both put aside for years to build a proper medicine room. The sister had said it was a loan. She had never repaid it. She had barely spoken of it since. Nara had not confronted her. She had continued delivering medicine to the sister's house when the children were sick. She had smiled at family gatherings. But inside, something had hardened. And it had stayed hard. One morning, she was gathering in the forest when she slipped on a wet root and pressed her palm into a thorn bush. A single thorn broke off beneath the skin at the base of her thumb. It was small. It did not bleed much. She wrapped it and continued working. But by evening, it ached. By the next morning, her hand was swollen. She went to Elder Somchai, the oldest healer in the region, to have it looked at. Elder Somchai pressed gently around the wound and said nothing for a while. Then he asked, "How long have you been carrying this?" She said, "Since yesterday." He shook his head slowly. "I do not mean the thorn." She looked at him. He said, "Your jaw has been clenched since you walked in. You are holding something else, and it is making everything worse. A body under that kind of tension cannot heal the way it should." She did not answer, but she did not leave either. And slowly, sitting in that small room with the smell of camphor and dried ginger, she began to tell him about her sister. She spoke for a long time. When she finished, the old man said, "You have been punishing her inside your own chest. Has she felt any of it?" Nara thought about it honestly. No, her sister seemed fine. She seemed not to think about it at all. The old man nodded. "So who is the thorn hurting?" There is a line in the Dhammapada, one of the oldest Buddhist texts we have, that puts it plainly. It says, "Holding onto anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." The Buddha was not saying the person who hurt you was right. He was saying that the injury they caused and the suffering you carry afterward are two separate things. One was done to you. The other, you are doing to yourself. The Confucian tradition adds something important here. Confucius taught that forgiveness is not about the other person at all. It is about who you choose to be. In the Analects, he described the quality he called ren, often translated as benevolence or humaneness. It is the idea that our inner life, our character, is the one thing no one can take from us. When we stay locked in resentment, we hand that over. We let what someone else did determine the shape of who we are becoming. Liezi, the Taoist writer, described something he called shi, release. Not surrender, not approval. Just the act of setting something down so you can use your hands again. Forgiveness in this sense is not a feeling that arrives. It is a decision you make again and again, quietly, the way a herbalist removes a thorn, carefully, completely, and then lets the skin close over. You do not have to forget what happened. You do not have to trust the person again. You just stop letting the wound run your life. Nara never had a dramatic reconciliation with her sister. That is not what the story is about. But she stopped rehearsing the injury at night. She stopped bracing when the sister's name came up. She let herself grieve the money, grieve the trust, and then, slowly, she let it settle. Her hand healed. The thorn was gone. If there is something you have been carrying, you do not have to resolve it today. You do not even have to feel ready. You just have to notice that you are still holding on. That noticing, that is the beginning.